All right. It was saying no data, and now it's saying excellent. So I assume that we are live, which is good. Welcome in. This live stream is unscheduled, unprompted, and unrehearsed, I suppose. So, yeah, I was just doing a stream with my some of my patrons, and then I thought, it'd be nice. I haven't done a stream in a while. I should do one of those, and then I can tell you about audiobook things, because I have this. It's very exciting. I will explain what that is in a minute. I mean, it's acoustic foam. You can see that it's acoustic foam, but it's all good. Hello James. Hello Sky Guy. Hello Victoria. Hello Yu-Gi-Oh! And Val, Skynet, and Tony. Surprise stream. Yeah, basically surprise stream. They're always a surprise. I was really supposed to be writing currently. Maybe you should do that, though? Maybe. I'm just, Anyway, welcome to everybody. If I don't say hello, please don't be offended. The stream, it's not currently going so fast that I can't read it, but I reckon in the next 5 minutes it will be, because YouTube is going to send out a bunch of notifications. Hey you. Jill is streaming. You want to come listen? So here we are. Happy Saturday for most of you, I assume. For some of you, it is not going to be Saturday, I guess. But tell me where you. Tell me where you are, or I mean, you don't have to tell me exactly where you are. You can tell me, where you are in as much or little detail as you wish. Don't tell me your actual address. That would be too much detail. This is the internet. We're supposed to, stay safe. But the Southern Hemisphere is sufficient detail if you want to. Rochester, New York. Sandwich, Kent. Yeah. Shout out to my Kent friends. I haven't been to Sandwich in ages. Not since they stopped doing the stage combat course there. But it's very pretty. Ontario, Canada. South coast of England. Cheese and vibes. I'm Canadian, but I'm currently in Mexico. Ooh, nice. Netherlands. For me not writing in a park in Amsterdam. Nice. Sweden, Southern California, Germany. YouTube said you were streaming. YouTube is correct. Louisiana, Ohio, Belgium, Ireland. Lots of Ontario, Canada. And there's Alberta as well. So hello, Canadians. And Californians. Would you... Okay, so I had a meeting recently with a very nice person from Ingram Spark who said, I have a little bit more information than you can usually get from your analytics. Obviously, I can't give you all of the information because it's proprietary to the people who... like the distributors and stuff. But I can tell you in slightly more detail some things about your books. And so one of the things she said was, your book is in at least one library in 39 of the 50 states in the USA. And I said, that's pretty cool. Hello from Ukraine. Hello. Southern Hemisphere 2 a.m. time zone. Don't worry, I'm about to go to bed. Good night. That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, sorry. Okay. And she said, yeah, so 39 states have at least one library with your book in it. And your book was also very popular in the state of Pennsylvania. She said, do you know why? And I said, no. She said it was also popular in California. And I said, I sort of get that, because California has a very large population, and, for some reason I just assume that everyone in California watches a lot of YouTube. I don't know if that's actually a thing or not, but sure. But Pennsylvania threw me a little bit. So hello to if you're out there, all of my Pennsylvanian book buying friends. Nice to see you. The Waterstones in Canterbury had just had me on their sci-fi table. That's so nice. They I went there back when I lived in Kent and went, hey, could I possibly do an event at some point? And they were like, yeah, but not right now. But we'll order a couple of copies of your book because that seems fun. So nice. They did that. That's cool. Hi from Venezuela and from Saskatoon and from so many Canadians. Did you know Elizabeth Wheatley mentioned your book in one of her shorts? Oh, shorts as well. That's cool, because I saw on TikTok, because people kept tagging me in it. She very kindly had not tagged me, because general etiquette is that you don't tag an author in a review of their work. Even if it's very nice, which it was. But people on TikTok are like, Jill, guys, what if she says something mean? I would have felt sad. Or like not watched it probably. I have a review buddy, which I highly recommend if you are an author, and your review buddy is the person who goes through and tells you about nice reviews, but also reads out the really ridiculous parts of bad reviews. So they don't, like, you know, I suppose if you also wanted the constructive criticism out of negative reviews, in case you were planning on writing some more and you wanted to know what you could do better next time, then that would also be a thing that a review buddy could do. But it's nice when people say nice things, and it's funny when people say things that aren't in the book that they didn't like. Anyway, why would she say something mean? Well, you don't know. I mean, people like different things, you know? Not everybody is going to like everything. Hello from Scotland, waving black, or is it a grey flag? I don't know. Thank you for such quality content. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I learned a thing on my Patreon live stream today. Okay. But we also tried something that didn't work, but it might have been because that live stream was unlisted. So here's the thing that I learned on that definitely does work. So if I do a thumbs up, then a thumbs up will appear magically on the screen, in addition to the thumbs up that I just did. I don't understand why the Scotland emoji broke. Okay, that makes much more sense. I was just like, are you sad? Is Scotland sad right now? No, it's just broken. Okay. But if you do a thumbs up, then a thumbs up emoji sometimes appears, which is cool. And if you do a thumbs down, then like a little thumbs down emoji also appears. Maybe you have to hold it for a certain amount of time. I don't know. But the thing that is oh yeah, that was much too close to the screen. Let's try it like that. If I do it like this, does that work? I don't know. I think you have to have it on the screen for a certain amount of time before anything happens. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay. But my favorite one is that if you do this, and this is on like a 7 to 8 second delay for me, so I'm just going to have to hold it like this for quite a while, then what happens is you get little hearts, and it's very exciting. I'm very happy about this. I don't really understand it, but you know, insomnia wins for once in Australia. Wonderful. So yes, but the other thing which didn't happen was somebody said, I think if you say like this video, then the like thingy flashes. But I don't know if that actually happened or not. And he also said, if you say don't forget to subscribe, then the subscribe button flashes. But I don't know if that happens either. It didn't happen on the private one. So you can tell me if it's happening on this one or not, because that is not something I can see. If it does the little heart things, I can see those, but I can't see the other things. But hey, here we are. Anyway, I always say, oh, this isn't going to be a very long stream, and then I'm here for a really long time. But since you're here at the start, if you are here at 6 o'clock, you know, you can tell me to go and get my dinner. I would appreciate that, because I do tend to wander off down rabbit trails and then I don't look at the clock, because there are far too many things that I need to look at on this screen right now already, and it's very difficult to maintain a train of thought while doing it. So if I miss anything that you said, I'm sorry, but it's not, you know, I can't read and talk at the same time. I end up reading out loud what I'm saying, which is not the best. I'm technically here at 8 o'clock to go get. I'm technically here at 6 o'clock to go get dinner. That's not. Yeah. Looking like Jill's professional workspace. I really wish that. So what you can't see, do you hold dances in the room or just swing swords in there? To be fair, the ceiling is quite low, so this thing You can't see, but I can reach it while sitting in my chair. The top of the ceiling is quite high, but obviously it's a slanted roof, so it's not. Yeah. But thank you for the super chat. Anyway, go get your dinner. It's only 5 o'clock here. It's only 5 past 5. I'm just saying. I only just started. You're now my dinner alert too. It's 5 past 6 now. Anyway, my granddaughter's pet name is Wee Cheese due to her mother's baby brain being able to say peaches. Oh, that's really sweet. Do you have an internal monologue? Like, can you talk to yourself in your head? Yes, but I can't read. I cannot read things on a completely different topic while also speaking about a. I can't read things on topic A while speaking about something on topic B. It doesn't. My brain does not like multitasking when I'm talking, and so either I just start reading out whatever I'm reading, or I just stop talking and lose my train of thought because the train of thought is overridden by the thing that I just read. It's noon here. How about lunch? Yeah. Did I see the Northern Lights? No, I didn't. But I apparently I was not alone in my area. Like, hey, did you guys see the Northern Lights? 150 people in the room. 4 people put their hands up to say yes, they did. So I'm guessing that, it was maybe overcast here. I don't know. Possibly I was just asleep. Honestly, you need a chat buddy to help you out. Full duplex information processing is not common. That's fair. Did you watch Eurovision? No, I didn't. My husband did say Eurovision is on tonight. I present you with this information. And I was like, great. I don't care. Why is your silver play button cracked and chipped? Oh, there is a YouTube short about that somewhere, but I decided to figure out if you could use it as a shield. So I hit it with a sword and stabbed it with a knife. And as it turns out, it's quite resilient. I mean, it's obviously very broken, but I hit it very hard, relatively speaking. You know, I'm not a big woman, but I hit it pretty hard. And I stabbed it pretty good with a very sharp knife, and it's still holding up. Do you play any non-D&D RPGs? No, because the only reason I'm playing D&D at the minute is because 3.5 years ago, I texted a friend of mine and was like, hey, how you doing? And she said, good. You want to come join our online D&D group that we started up during the pandemic because we can't see each other in person? And I was like, yeah. And I've been there ever since. I'm not averse to playing non-D&D RPGs. It's just I can only really cope with one thing at the family and work and school and as in taking small people to school. You know, there's a lot going on. So one thing that you do every couple of weeks is about my limit, though I would quite like to get back into like either longsword or fencing again, because I really miss my longsword club in Kent. Like I miss them a lot right now. I want to go hit things with swords. It's very therapeutic. I watched Mark of Zorro today and you were right, the only problem is I sided with Basil. Not his role. Have you decided if you're going to Glasgow for Worldcon? I am. I have booked all of the things, like the hotel things and the ticket things and the traveling there and back kind of things. I've also found myself a list of other things that are fun to do in Glasgow, just in case I go and then I'm like, this day I want to do this, this, and this, but this day there's nothing that I really fancy doing, so I might wander around and do something else in Glasgow, because I've never been to Glasgow. So this seems like a good opportunity to do those things. The Aurora might be back again in a few days. Ooh. If you do not... Hold on. If you don't know, you can order more from YouTube. I don't know what that is in relation to. What can you order more of from YouTube? Do you have any creative writing advice? No. No. I mean, like, not wishing to be rude, but I approach the writing process, well, no, I don't think I approach the writing process terribly differently from other authors, given that I've now talked to some, and they were like, yes, writing is hard and terrible. It's okay. It's not just you. But I wrote a thing, and I mostly wrote it because people really wanted it, and I thought, well, I can't really get anyone else to do it, so I guess I'll give it a go. And then the reason that it got through all of the revisions was because I, sort of sunk cost fallacy. Like, I've come this far, therefore I should keep going, even when I didn't really enjoy it. I think it turned out pretty well. Like, for a first book, I think that it did pretty well. I think that was, largely due to having very good editors. But I think you just have to keep going until it's done, is the only advice I have, which is not really very good advice, honestly. Why so popular in Pennsylvania? I have no idea. I would love to know. But hey. Oh, that it was about replacement YouTube silver play buttons. Right. No, see, I quite like this one. I mean, I don't seem to be, gaining lots of subscribers, so I have not really progressed much beyond 500,000, so I don't know if I will ever get to 1 million subscribers. But if I do, I will definitely at least admire the gold play button for a few months before I, stab it. You'll like Glasgow. Okay, cool. I think a silver play button's worth more because it's personalized. Yeah. Have you ever fenced foil? I have basically only fenced foil when I fenced a little bit of epee, which was great because everyone's like, oh, they're so heavy. I'm like, no. But also it has fewer rules than foil, which I appreciated. You can order up to 8 at a time. So they give you the first one for free when you get to 100,000 subscribers. But if you want to get another one, you have to pay like $200. I think it was like $250 or something. If higher marks in your reviews than most indie authors get, you should be very proud. Thanks, Steph. Of course you would say that, because you have to say nice things. Steph was my editor and made the editing process much more bearable by inserting into the comments in the manuscript every time she laughed, she would leave me a note to tell me that she laughed because something was funny, which was very helpful because you start to wonder after a while if you're just writing nonsense. Anyway, it's the only advice that works. Keep going until it's done. Yep, yeah. Foil love, I feel seen. Epee is the best. Sorry, not sorry. I would really like to try Saber. I just have never particularly had the opportunity because I'm very bad at fencing lessons because fencing lessons in a lot of ways are the exact opposite of stage combat, because in fencing lessons, when your teacher gives you an opening, you are supposed to take it, and that's how they teach you to do the various different moves. They open the line, you go direct. They try to parry, you disengage and go direct, or you do a 1-2 or whatever it is. But I wait for permission to stab them, which you're not supposed to do. So yeah, I'm less bad when sparring. I'll just like try and hit people, but I'm quite bad at remembering that the idea is that you're supposed to poke them whenever. It's just stab. Were there any laughs you didn't expect, or non-laughs where you thought they should be? No, I didn't. I don't really. I didn't really notice if there were not laughs where I expected there to be, but it's always gratifying to know that other people are at least laughing at the same things that you are. Foil is stab with rules. Epee is stab, foil is stab with rules. The book is a hoot. Jury members look at me strangely. Yep, fair. Need no Agony Booth brother to be your tour guide in Glasgow. I would love to see you, Jonathan. It's been... How long ago were we on the Agony Booth? It's got to be 10 years? Easy? Yeah. Anyway, just have to make it bear-upable. You'll take yourself outside. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. R. Jeremy Howard, you take yourself outside anyway. What can I say? Anyway, oh yeah. So I was going to tell you about these. No, I did. I did tell you about these, but yeah, they are in the background because probably on Monday I have to finish editing something first. Because I made a video about The Secret of Nim. Sort of. It's not it's a fight analysis video, but it's not a fight analysis video of these are the moves they're doing. It's a fight analysis video along the lines of this is where they stole them from. Although stole is kind of harsh, you know. Here is the choreography that inspired this, because IMDb says that the choreography in the final sword fight in The Secret of Nim was largely inspired by the adventures of Robin Hood, and also had inspiration from the Vikings, and that is entirely backwards. And I'm going to prove it. Hopefully on Monday, if I get it done by then. But if not, Tuesday. How and why did you get into acting, sword fighting? Right, so I've always done acting. I was the, or at least, you know, from the age of like 9-ish, I was the kid in the drama club. I wasn't very good at acting, to be honest, and so I never got like very good parts until I was about 16 and got slightly better at it, but I was very good at memorizing lines, which helped at that point. So I'd always done acting, but then I went to see The Last Jedi and I was like, you know what looks really fun? Learning to pretend to fight with lightsabers. And being able to do that, you know, like being able to fake fight people seems like a really niche thing, but that it would be really fun. And so I Googled stage combat near me. Which led me to, why don't you come to Sandwich, Kent for a week-long stage combat intensive course? And so I said, okay, and so I did, and it was amazing fun, and so I just kind of kept doing it. And so even though I've done much less acting in the subsequent years, I've done a fair bit of stage combat, less so in the last like year or so. Just had a bunch of other things to do, like write a book. Yeah, anyway, I live in Pennsylvania and I've been hyping it up. That seems, yeah, you never know, it could be that. Taking inspiration is just publicly acceptable theft. Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, child actors are usually bad. Don't feel bad about that. Like, that's fair. Jonathan, I will let me come and try and find you, because I'm very hard to find. But you can try. But I'm deliberately very hard to find on Facebook because I don't really use it. But I will come see if I can find you. Anyway, writing update. I'm now no longer in the park. Good stuff. Are there any movies you worked on? Not a lot. So I did an indie movie with Mike Jevons, who was a former Channel Awesome person. So he did a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo or something to make his horror comedy movie. And I was in it as a quite a minor character. And so I went and shot with them for 3 or 4 days. They shot basically the entire movie in about 11 days, which was a time, particularly because it was really, really wet. I think that was the only sort of full-length thing I've been in. I've been in a couple of like short student films and stuff like that, but most of my acting was sort of amateur theatre stuff. Like I was in The Height of the Baskervilles as the crazy lady who was secretly married to the guy she pretended was her brother. But anyway, who in all of literature would you like to play in a movie? Beatrice from Much Ado About Nothing, because she's really funny, and I love her very much. I remember there was that short of the lightsaber blade detaching and going flying off, which made you laugh a bunch. That has happened twice. It happened to me once when I was trying to demonstrate the Obi-Annie, and it happened to me once when I was actually learning choreography, which was fun. I particularly like the part where Jack just snatched it out of the air as casually as if that sort of thing happens all the time. Well, we get to see more footage from that sword fighting intensive week. I feel like I've got the footage somewhere, like the final things, like the small sword fight. But I might have to ask for it again because I'm not sure where I put it. Whoops. How involved with Sherlock Holmes are you? Not at all. Not at all. Like I've read, I loved the first couple of seasons of Sherlock on the BBC, and then it kind of went really bizarre. I mean, it was kind of strange before, but it was sort of the kind of strange that I didn't mind. I was like, yeah, I like it anyway. I can see why people would find it a bit odd, but I'm enjoying myself. And then as the seasons progressed, it got progressively more strange, to the point where you're just like, anyway, I read a couple of Sherlock Holmes books, but I don't know, for some reason, I never really got into them. No. Can we have a link so we can watch the movie? If you search for... Hang on. What do you need to search for? Let me find out. One moment, please. Nerd Quest movie. Then that will do it. Yeah, it should be like the first result is the Nerd Quest full movie on Mike Jevons's site. Or not his site, his YouTube channel, which is, good. What about Elementary? I watched like one episode of it and was like, and so, yeah. You were Miss Stapleton, you always forget. Yes, that's who I was. I was Miss Stapleton. That is correct. I read the entire Sherlock Holmes series in primary school, so I feel more closer to the joke. That is fair. Like, there are lots of things that I just don't particularly like. Mind you, I have now read The Hobbit the whole way through. Out loud as well, which was definitely interesting. It has... it definitely leans really heavily into its words that don't really exist but sound like they should. Anyway, how easy would it be to change your book into a stage play or a film? Well, I feel like it would be easier to change it into a stage play than a film because films require money and stage plays also require money, but like less of it. And you can write a stage play and have other people can perform it if they want to, as opposed to a film where you actually need to fund it, which is, I'm guessing to Little Bear. Yes, I read the entire thing to Ursa Minor, who was really into it, and I was not expecting that. Like, obviously, the big things in our house for child reading are all of the Harriet Munster books and Harry Potter, that we only go up as far as 4. But I said, if you read the whole of 4 by yourself, then I will read you Order of the Phoenix, which I may live to regret. I may live to regret that, but yeah. But the main thing that is super duper popular is Harriet Munster books. Is it Munster? I don't know. Isadora Moon is the name of the series, and then there's another series called Mirabelle, and then there's another series called Emerald. And Isadora Moon is half... they're like little pink and black illustrations, and Isadora Moon is a vampire fairy, and her cousin Mirabelle is half fairy, half witch, and then Emerald is just a mermaid, but her dad is like the king of the sea, and her mum and her dad are separated, but her dad is the king of the sea, and her mum is... No, or her stepdad is the king of the sea. I don't know. It's a thing. I do not read them because I'm just like, you want to read them, you go right ahead. But yeah, she was really into The Hobbit. Really into The Hobbit, and was like, yeah, I want you to read me more of The Hobbit. And I was quite surprised because it's, it's not the easiest thing to read, but I guess, when you don't have to read all the words yourself, then it's just kind of fun. And people are getting eaten by or getting argued at by trolls or whatever. Order of the Phoenix is a big jump in size of books to read. Yeah. That's why I might live to regret that. But if I do it once and it's not scary, or it's not too scary, then I can be like, no, you have to read it yourself from now on. Okay, thanks, bye. Because the 2 subsequent books are much smaller, so it'll work. The stage version of Miss Author should be a Pepper's ghost, so she can pop in and out magically. Yeah. I just wanted to pop in. Oh, I'm so glad you like the book. Like lots of people seem to like the book, and I'm very pleased by this because it was, well outside of my wheelhouse. It has been very nice to hear that, and it has also, to be very, very honest, it has been nice to get back to the here is a fight with swords, and I'm going to tell you about it because I feel like I know what I'm doing for those. The Hobbit is at least the book for children. Yeah, Order of the Phoenix is the longest book. But what do you do? I have read all of the first four, and I read the first three in particular out loud in their entirety several times. I hear that they're going to do some kind of like audio recording of the Harry Potter books with a full cast, which is great because as much as I love Stephen Fry doing Hermione's voice is just kind of weird. So a full cast sounds great and is going to be amazing on long car journeys because at the minute it's just like, here is an audiobook, go for it. That sounds like an even better audiobook. So, I read your book for a book report. Amazing. Read the entire Wheel of Time series, or is that read the entire Wheel of Time series? I read the first book in the Wheel of Time series, and I was like, that was moderately enjoyable. I don't really want to read any more of these, which is at least better than watching the first episode of the Wheel of Time series, where I went, that was vaguely enjoyable. I don't want to spend any more time with these characters, and that only took me 40 minutes, so, what can you say? Tolkien had a different idea on what was appropriate for children than his publisher. Like, yeah. Stephen Fry saying he pocketed it will always make me laugh. Yes. I love that story. Just like, yeah, with the OG cast like Daniel Radcliffe. No, I would sincerely doubt it because their voices would be just wrong. Daniel Radcliffe no longer sounds like an 11-year-old boy because he's, a man in his 30s. So I imagine I think they're making a TV series as well. So I imagine they'll just hire some either people who can sound like young people or actual young people. Who knows? Stephen Fry's Hermione is better than the American audiobooks. I've never heard the American audiobooks, so I cannot make any comment on that. You need to leverage your YouTube channel to get an Audible sponsorship. Does anybody get Audible sponsorships anymore? Because they used to be a really big thing until 2021, 2022, and then just nothing. And nobody who didn't probably already have a deal with them has had an Audible sponsorship since then. So I don't think that those exist anymore. Which is really interesting. Like, back in the day, who used to sponsor YouTube videos? Like, if you watch older YouTube videos, it's Squarespace is still pretty popular, but you had Audible and you had those learning platforms like Skillshare and Brilliant maybe, but Skillshare was a huge one, and there were just there were a lot of really big heavy hitters, and then they started pulling back, I think because it just, after the pandemic, people started watching less stuff, and so they were just becoming less and less popular. Voice actors, I was made to feel old when I read that we're on the 5th voice actor for Peppa Pig. There you go. Red Shadow Legends. 30-minute notes for dinner time. Thank you. I'm, it's all good. Blue Apron. NordVPN. Yes. Though, you made it live. This is exciting. I'm glad that you made it. NordVPN. Yes, definitely. That was a big one. I do think they still do. I've seen recently people do NordVPN sponsorship reads. I miss the Backblaze sponsorships they had class. I've never even heard of that. Possibly I just move in different YouTube video circles now, because the only ones I get, that HelloFresh was big for a while, I guess. The only ones I tend to get now are, in one extreme, mobile games, and then in the other extreme, mattresses. Yeah, the Great Horses Plus. Yeah, I got an email from them the other day saying that we were called something else. We changed our name, and now we're changing our name back. What kind of tea are you drinking? It's just water. Surfshark, yeah. I'm also a voice actor, it says so on IMDb. Yeah. I'm glad to hear it. Like, IMDb is a very useful place for many things, but as I am going to say in my video, which will hopefully be coming out on Monday, it is not it is not necessarily strictly accurate. It's just mostly accurate. Someone currently uses a tea company as a sponsor on videos. See, I don't drink a lot of tea. I drink mostly because I started getting terrible headaches. I don't know if this is I didn't drink a lot of tea before, but I started, I would have a cup of tea, and for the first time in a couple of months, and then a couple of hours later, I would have a splitting headache. And then even with green tea, which I think doesn't have as much caffeine in it, I don't really know, but I would have like a cup of green tea, and then a couple of hours later, splitting headache. And eventually I managed to put these things together and go, oh, it's the tea that's doing it. So now I just stick with peppermint and licorice from like Pukka Teas is my absolute favorite. I will drink that all day. I don't actually. I mostly drink water, but if I have a tea, then that's definitely my go-to. I get Revolut ads. I'm a minor. Yeah. If anyone was getting a tea sponsorship, it would be Spiff. Yeah, I feel like that is accurate. I feel like he memed his way into a tea sponsorship, which is pretty good. Gotta go. See you later. Do Cathedral City have a marketing budget for cheese? For those of you unfamiliar, Cathedral City is a cheese brand. You can get decaf tea. Yeah, it's true, but I don't actually like the taste of regular tea enough to care. Chamomile and rooibos. I love rooibos, and it doesn't give me a headache, so that is a good one. Chamomile, I feel like tastes of meh. I don't even know what chamomile tastes of, but just sort of meh. Does red wine give the same? I don't know. I don't drink alcohol because I don't like the taste of the alcohol. Like, everyone goes, oh, you could try this. I'm like, yes, but I can still taste the alcohol in it. And the alcohol tastes unpleasant, right? So I don't know if red wine would give me a headache. Oops, I missed the swap. Chamomile is awful. Well, I'm glad that somebody else is, validating my opinion here. Hello from County Antrim. Hey, hibiscus and lemongrass is a great summer combo. Oh, actually sounds quite good. We had an awful lot in my garden in my last house. We had all of this lemon balm, so much lemon balm, and I thought originally they were nettles because they look quite similar. And then I went, why do these nettles smell like lemons? Like, oh, they're not nettles at all. They are lemon balm, like, which you can make tea out of. But it also just tastes, it doesn't really taste of lemon. It just tastes of which part of the UK are you from? That's an interesting question. The relevant thing is that I was born in Northern Ireland and I lived there until I went to university. And since then I have been bouncing around various bits of England with a brief stop in Germany. So that's why my accent sounds a bit odd. Never started a conversation about tea on a live stream before. Welcome. Other people's live streams, I feel like, tend to have a point, whereas mine is just like, look, here is some acoustic foam. Let's, this means that I can hopefully start recording the audiobook soon. Also because my house has just been non-stop hammering and sawing and drilling for most of the front half of this week. But now that's finished, and so there's just a lot of slightly damp plaster in my house. Which is quiet. Slightly damp plaster is doing its thing and doesn't require any hammering or drilling or anything. So that means that I might be able to start recording some of the audiobook, or at least test recording and seeing how it goes. Yay! Is the kitchen finished? I mean, the kitchen is fine. Because we've moved into this new house, the kitchen will need to be redone at some point, but currently it's, things in it function, at least reasonably well. We're here so she doesn't feel this weird talk about talking to herself. That is, I'm not going to say that's very accurate, but maybe. I nearly passed into the ether when I discovered that some people microwave their tea. Yeah. Would you ever consider doing a gaming stream? I feel like I would be very bad at that because for the same reason that I'm bad at reading chats while talking about something else. Which is to say, when I'm playing a game, I'm playing a game. And when I'm talking, then I'm talking. And I'm not very good at doing both of those things at the same time. A Just Chatting live stream is merely a podcast that's being produced right now. That's fair. How's the dungeon? The dungeon is okay. It's got some new sort of grates in the sides so that it can be less of a damp, drippy dungeon and more just of a dry dungeon. So I'm hopeful. Really good idea to have a live stream without a theme. I mean, themes are for people who are bad at improvising. Except I am bad at improvising, but luckily I've got all of you to talk to me and make conversation, so we do okay. How would someone recommend a movie sword fight for you to evaluate? You can just put it in the YouTube comments. As in, don't reply to someone else's comment to do it. Just put it in the YouTube comments. The problem is that I probably still won't do it. Or if I do, it might take several years because I go almost entirely on whim. Because if I don't want to do it, then it's not going to be a good episode. So at some point in the future, I don't microwave water. There are kettles. Yeah. At some point in the future, I may. See, now I've lost my train of thought. Oh no. And it's not about microwaving water. Crud. Nope. Oh, right. At some point, I may do a patron request for a movie review, which was for like Star Trek, the Wrath of Khan, and I got the DVD, and I watched some of the movie at least, and I just went, I don't have anything to say about this. Oh no, what do I do? This is why I don't do patron requests anymore. I used to do them. But nowadays I'm like, no, listen, you can absolutely freely request things to me and I will, write it down or make a note of it or whatever, but I make no promises that I will do it because I can't make myself write about things that I don't feel like I have anything to say about. But there we go. You were talking about maybe your fight reviews. It was good. I got back to the point in the end, but this is why I'm bad at multitasking. I am an excellent single tasker. But there we go. Have none of you heard of a kettle? Yeah, I sometimes wonder about that. Like, what's wrong with kettles? We went to Florida on holiday, and we went to a house. We rented a house, like a holiday home, and it had a kettle in it, and I thought, wonderful. It also had a fridge which had an ice making machine, which Ursa Minor thought was the greatest thing ever. To be fair, I thought it was pretty good too. But yes, the differences, cultural differences. There we go. A bunch of people asked me, is it the Jeremy versus Jenner fight in the Nim video? Yes, it's Justin, not Jeremy. But yes, it is. Nope, I've lost the original thought too, but never mind. Oh yeah, a bunch of people asked me, was I going to review the fight, the sort of like strip sword fight at the beginning of Flight of the Osiris? And the answer to that is probably no. And the reason is that I watched it and I was like, well, I mean, this is very well put together and, like, I get it, but it comes at you with no context. And you don't really know who these people are or why you should care about it. And I don't know what it is about it, but when I watched it, I felt like a voyeur. Like when I'm watching the Mask of Zorro sword fight, I feel like I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm watching two people have a fight in which some of them lose parts of their clothing. When I'm watching the Flight of the Osiris, I feel like I'm, like we're deliberately trying to be titillating. But there's no connection because who even are these people? I mean, we're hopefully going to get to know them across the course of this movie, but like, who are you? And why should I care about your flirting? Like, if I don't have a reason to care about the flirting, then it's just a bit odd. Okay. Are you arguing about kettles in the comment section? Anyway, Never mind. 20 minutes on the dinner. Great. What was the coolest fight you haven't been able to make a video on? That's a good question. And I don't, nothing immediately comes to mind, but I will ruminate on it while we're chatting. Yes, we are. Okay. Could you not have a fight about kettles in the comment section? What is my dinner plan? I'm going to get chips. But I normally what happens is I do a live stream on usually it's 4 till 4:45 or so for some of my patrons, and then I go get chips. But today I thought I'm not hungry and nobody else wants dinner because no one else is here to want dinner, so I'm gonna do a live stream because why not? I like talking. Have you considered cheese review video? It's a respectful discussion. Okay, as long as it's a respectful discussion. The Achilles Hector fight from Troy. I have that, but the problem with that is it requires me to watch the entirety of the movie Troy. And I have tried several times, but for some reason, I never seem to manage to actually finish it. And so I'm pretty sure I watched it in the cinema, so I should know what happens at the end of it, but it came out a very long time ago, so I don't know what happens at the end of it. So I can't I'm that would probably be a reasonable fight to do, but I just don't really care about this movie very much. So much so that I've tried to watch it on more than one occasion and just not been able to finish it. Have you seen the fight between Obi and Darth Maul? Yes, I made a short about it. Please don't use kettles as dueling weapons, chat. Yes. Chips as in fries or chips as in crisps? Chips as in fries, but the chunky kind because they're chips, not fries. As in fish and chips. Chips as in fried potatoes, but that doesn't really help you because crisps are, as in potato chips, are also just fried potatoes, just differently fried potatoes. I don't like Troy sacrilege. I don't know why, and I don't even know why I don't like it. I'm just it's okay. There's a horse and they burn Troy at the end. Can you do a review of the sword fight between Flynn and Maximus in Tangled? I forgot that they did that. I love Tangled. I haven't seen it in a while. I should definitely watch that again. I mean, we are doing one on The Secret of Nim, so, children's movies. The video that's coming out after that, which I have not finished writing yet, because it is requiring me to draw in things from other media, which is not often a thing that I have to do, which is why I like reviewing movies, because if you review a TV show and you're like, the thing that happens in episode 2 or something, and then you have to remember a thing that happens in, season 3, episode 4, and it's just a pain. Whereas if you have a movie, you have 2 hours, and that's it, and it tells you a self-contained story. Anyway, Tangled is a good one. After The Secret of Nim, we are doing Robin Hood Men in Tights, which means that we have to talk about the adventures of Robin Hood, but only a little bit, and we have to really talk about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And we also have to talk about Maid Marian and Her Merry Men, which is a 1989 British children's TV series written by Tony Robinson, who you may know better as Baldric from Blackadder. He played the Sheriff of Nottingham in that series. Maid Marian and Her Merry Men is the best Robin Hood adaptation ever put to screen, and I will hear no dissent on that. You may like The Adventures of Robin Hood, you may for some reason really love the Kevin Costner version. I don't know. I don't care. The Tony Robinson version is superior, in my opinion. Men in Tights. Yep. Yeah, you really can't talk about Men in Tights if you don't talk about Prince of Thieves, because so much of it comes from either The Adventures of Robin Hood or from Prince of Thieves, especially the costume design of the Sheriff of Rottingham is just straight out of there. Men in Tights, I didn't the first time I watched it, because I'm pretty sure I've watched it as a kid, but since then, no, was me going, that's Dave Chappelle. Is that Dave Chappelle? I think that's Dave Chappelle, just like baby Dave Chappelle. So that was a surprise. And then I was watching it going, oh yeah, Prince of Thieves. Oh yeah, Adventures of Robin Hood. Oh yeah, Prince of Thieves. Prince of Thieves. Prince of Thieves. Yeah. Tony Robinson is in the Host of Time team. See, that is what I said to my American friend when I was explaining about Maid Marian and her merry men, and he was like, Tony Robinson is in Baldric from Blackadder, and I said, yes, I suppose that probably is more well known. But yeah, Tony Robinson is in Time Team. 15 minutes before you're eating. Well, to be fair, 15 minutes before I, have to go and like do the steps that, make the food go on the plate, Unlike other Robin Hoods, I can speak with a British accent. I love your take on how effectively Blinken destroys that post. Just got here. Did I miss an update on the audiobook? Merely that I now have a silent house and an acoustic box, which I'm going to put together for the microphone, so I can actually start recording it soon, which is good. I don't know how long it's going to take. I have decided that I am not going to give myself any deadlines for it, and I am not going to tell you when it's coming out until it's actually done. Just because I gave myself like 6 months of leeway for the publication of the book, and it was hideously stressful because I was constantly worried until like the 5th of December. I was worried that I was not going to hit that deadline. So I'm just gonna, I'm telling you that I'm recording it, and I will tell you again when I've recorded it and it's actually, ready for pre-order or whatever. The only British show I've seriously watched was Sherlock. Fair enough. Me and my boyfriend arguing over his cosplays because he has full-length coverage in plate, but he only has a tunic on his torso. No time. The headline's the best deadline. What would you say is your aesthetic? I think I am. So I will be 38 soon. My birthday is coming up. So I think I'm too old to have an aesthetic. But to be fair though, in the winter, my aesthetic is basically if Steve Jobs were a woman wearing riding boots, because it's like black, you've got black skinny jeans, you've got black boots on, and you're wearing a black, what do Americans call them? Turtleneck, like a polo neck, with the long sleeves and the neck that folds over the top. There's a lot of that going on. And then in the spring, it's a jumper over the top of a black t-shirt, and then when we get into summer we switch entirely and it's leggings and a dress with pockets. So winter Jill dresses very differently to summer Jill, as you would expect, I suppose, but like winter Jill is all layers, and every possible square inch of skin is covered, at least up to like here. And then summer Jill, most of me is still covered because I burn very easily, but it's a lot flowier. Well done and good night. You're never too old for an aesthetic. Thank you, Misty from Pokemon on the school run. Yeah, that is an occasional summer thing because I have denim shorts, like the one pair, and I have been wearing them every summer for some number of years now. But yes, Misty from Pokemon on the school run does happen occasionally. You made it somewhat. Congratulations. Welcome in. Pockets and cheese. Happy pre-birthday. I will be 38 in 2047. That definitely doesn't make me feel old. Thanks. I'm 50, Jill, still wet behind the ears. That probably makes me feel better. 12 minutes on dinner. Thank you. Thanks for letting us spend time together. Time to head to our local farmers market. Nice. Cheers. I feel like on this channel, instead of saying cheers, we now just say cheese, which is funny. Jill's aesthetic is not actually armor. Yep. The sunburn front. Yep. That's okay. You're allowed to make me feel old if you're turning 38 in 2047. I'm not going to do the maths on that because I watched some guy who does finance. He goes through people's finances and shouts at them. And I watched some of his episodes. And he's like, public maths is bad, so we don't make you do public maths. Because even if it's easy, trying to do it in the pressure of other people being around you is hard. David Ramsey, like it's not Dave Ramsey. It's like I'm gonna get it. Caleb Hammer. That's who it was. I remember him saying, he asked somebody something, and then he was like, no, don't do public math. Here is a calculator, which I thought was, better. It was 30 in 1984, so don't worry, it gets better. Okay, that's fair, because do you know, do you want to know something really interesting about age demographics, actually? So I had the Mark of Zorro video did really well, but it also did very strangely. So normally YouTube's demographic profile, it goes down the page, so you get a bell curve, but you get it sideways. So let me do it horizontally for you. How's Nemo? Nemo is great. He's much happier now that plastering is no longer happening. So mine usually goes whoop, and the peak in the middle is the age bracket just below mine, so 25 to 34. And then there's some people in their 20s and some people in their, late 30s, early 40s, but it sort of goes, it's not very many young people up to about 30 being the average age of the people watching me, and then sort of down the other side. The Mark of Zorro went like that. The single largest group of people watching that video was 65 plus. I sent it to a friend of mine who does YouTube analytics, and he said, Jill, I've seen a lot of analytics in my time. Like, a lot. I've never seen one that's just a triangle, ever. Like, that is entirely new to me, and I am really fascinated as to how that came about. And I said, I don't know. I don't know who decided to publicize the Mark of Zorro with the sort of 65 and over bracket specifically, but that is how it shook out. So there you go. I'm 33. I thought you were younger than me. Yeah, I get that a lot, but I think it's because on screen you can't see people as well, and also you can't see things like their hands and their necks, which makes it a lot easier to tell age. And also I wear a lot of hoodies, which is a young people thing, or maybe it's not a young people thing anymore, I don't know, but they don't seem to have noticed on TikTok that I'm an old person, so nobody tell them. Because they remember the movie, I've never seen the Mark of Zorro. Yes, but the thing is, I've done movies which are as old as that, or at least nearly as old as that, and I still didn't have that distribution. Just for this one. So The Adventures of Robin Hood, it's skewed slightly older than my usual videos. So, people in their 40s remember it more. But that one just went straight up, which was really fun. Zorro was my first Halloween costume as a kid because of that film. I love that. Chat's going a bit fast. Silly pack. I was born in 2009 and I'm 15. Fair enough. I used to look after a kid whose birthday, I still send texts to the kids I used to look after on their birthdays. And I'm like, oh, you're an adult now. Not even you're a teenager and I stopped looking after you a while ago, but you're a full grown up person who can rent cars and stuff. Wow. That's weird. Cool, but weird. Someone sent the video to their grandma. Yeah. Maybe lots of people sent the video to their grandma. What was your Princess Bride analytic? I think the Princess Bride is kind of standard. It's just a lot more people watched it than my usual videos, if you see what I mean. Bride. I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Let's see. Give me some analytics. So yeah, it's pretty much exactly like all of the other ones. So the biggest group at 38.7% is 25 to 34 years old, and then the ones on either side of that, 18 to 24 is 24.3%, 35 to 44 is 19.7%, and then it sort of tails off either side. which is quite fascinating. I'm not the only Jill Bearup enjoyer who's a teenager. Welcome, you are welcome. You know, everybody is welcome, regardless of your age. I will endeavor not to, you know, feel too old, even though I am twice your age or more. Look at all of that plaster, incredible. Yeah, this isn't okay, Torium. All of the plaster is downstairs, so my walls downstairs are kind of brown now, except for the part where I had to chip off some of the bit that didn't get plastered because it was not so good, and then I had to fill it up. Anyway, that's not the point. Jill, you're just over 2 years older than me. That's probably why I love Rosamund so much. 5 minutes to go get food, thank you. See, they're keeping me on track. If there was a track to be kept upon. Zara 227k versus Robin Hood 50k. I mean, the Robin Hood one, I think I should have chosen a better thumbnail. I think I've chosen a better thumbnail now, but Mark of Zorro got this really weird spike, and I don't know where it came from. And when the thing about YouTube is, if you get a spike from outside traffic, then it starts recommending to people in that demographic, and so that outside spike disappears. You don't see it. Because YouTube is like, oh, well, I guess 65-year-olds got directed to here, so let's send it to a bunch of 65-year-olds who are already on YouTube. And so you can't really tell where it came from, but I would be fascinated to know. It's really weird when you graduate age brackets. It's fair. Really hitting that retiree market. Yeah, apparently so. But only the ones. You think The Court Jester would skew older. It's not exactly a recent movie. You would think that. But they used to show it a lot on German TV, apparently, and also on British and American TV in the 80s. It's a bit like Roger Moore James Bond films. Like, if you say to me, James Bond, I think Pierce Brosnan first, probably, but then... round about the same time, I think Roger Moore, because Roger Moore are the James Bond films that I grew up on. This is also because my mom didn't like Sean Connery in anything, really. And to be fair, I liked the Roger Moore Bond films better than the Sean Connery Bond films. I mean, they may, objectively speaking, I suppose, not be as good, but I don't care. I like The Spy Who Loved Me is probably my favorite James Bond film. Either that or GoldenEye, which is like, that's maybe a weird combination. I don't know, but you know. Anyway, it's 5-2. It's good. If you die dehydrated and hungry, you can't. If you get dehydrated and hungry, you can't make videos. You made me watch and thoroughly obsess over Lockwood and Co. Oh man, it has been a while since I got into a show like I got into Lockwood and Co. And then I read the books, and then I was really sad that they cancelled it, because before I was like, oh well, I got a good thing, and Netflix didn't ruin it. But then I read the books and went, but look at these things I could have got. Roger Moore to rhyme with poor. Roger Moore to rhyme with poor. Who doesn't like Connery? I don't know. I just never really got into those as much. Though I think From Russia with Love has a really good punch up on a train, which is one of my stage combat instructor Duncan's favorite fights. Rob Roy is one of his other ones, but he really likes From Russia with Love's train fight. All out done by GoldenEye 64. So 2 minutes. Have you been watching Doctor Who? I have not. I kind of fell off Doctor Who when we moved to Germany, which was sometime in the 11th Doctor's tenure, maybe. And then I never really picked up when we came back, so I missed all of 12. And here we are. Let's all spam. Okay, so you have 40 seconds before you're all going to start spamming the word dinner in the chat. At which point, I am going to be a responsible grown-up who eats regular meals, etc. And I'm going to go eat my dinner. I may be old, but I prefer Pierce Brosnan. He's very charming. Like, I just like Pierce Brosnan. And I really liked GoldenEye because I really liked the Russian lady. Not the crazy Russian lady, the Russian computer lady. She was fun. So proud of you for being responsible. Thank you. Well, it has been a pleasure, as always. I'm going to stop commenting so you can go and dine. It has been a pleasure, as always. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend and that you get to eat some very nice cheese if you're into that sort of thing. And I will see you all very soon. Hopefully, you will see me on Monday with The Secret of Nim. But if not, you will see me on Tuesday if I don't get it finished on Monday. But I'm hoping. I'm near the end now, so we should be good. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.